Shalom and welcome to Torah and Coffee. I have my coffee and I have my Torah. Today I'm going to do something different. I found out last Shabbat, which is Saturday, last week, that I only read half of the Torah portion. It is a double Torah portion, so I need to make up the difference. So I'm sorry about that. And we're going to have the Torah portion, the other half from last week. And then later on sometime, we're going to read the new Torah portion. So sit right back and enjoy. We are in Numbers 33, and we're going to finish the book of Numbers with this reading, which actually belongs to last Saturday. Numbers 33:1. These were the marches of the Israelites who started out from the land of Egypt, troop by troop, in the charge of Moshe and Aaron. Moshe recorded that the starting point of every various marches, as directed by Yah. Their marches by starting points were as follows. They set out from Ramses in the first month on the 15th day of the first month. It was on the morrow of the Passage, offering that the Israelites started out defiantly, in plain view of all the Egyptians. The Egyptians, meanwhile, were burying those among them whom Yah had struck down. Every firstborn were by Yah executed judgment on their gods. The Israelites set out from Ramses and encamped at Sukkot. They set out from Sukkot and encamped at Etham, which is on the edge of the wilderness. They set out from Etham and turned up about toward Pi-Hahiroth, which faces Baal-Zephon, and they encamped before Migdal. They set out from Pi-Hahiroth and passed through the sea of the wilderness, and they made a 3-day journey in the wilderness of Ephraim, and encamped at Marah. They set out from Marah and came to Eliam. These were the 12 springs in Eliam, and 70 palm trees. So they encamped these. 10. Verse 10. They set out from Eliam and camped by the Sea of Reeds. They set out from the Sea of Reeds and encamped in the wilderness of Sin. They set out from the wilderness of Sin and encamped Dovka. They set out from Dovka and encamped Alush. They set out from Alush and encamped Rephidim. It was there that the people had no water to drink. They set out from Rephidim and encamped in the wilderness of Sinai. They set out from the wilderness of Sinai and encamped Kipporah Hatava. They set out from Kipporah Hatava and encamped at Hetzeroth. They set out from Hetzeroth and encamped at Rithmah. They set out from Rithmah and encamped at Ramon Perez. They set out from Ramon Perez and encamped at Libnah. They set out from Libnah and encamped Risha. They set out from Risha and encamped at Kehelath. They set out from Kehelath and encamped at Mount Shepah. They set out from Mount Shepah and encamped Harada. They set out from Harada and encamped at Makheloth. They set out from Makheloth and encamped at Tahath. They set out from Tahath and encamped Terah. They set out from Terah and encamped Mizpah. They set out from Mizpah and they camped at Hashmona. They set out from Hashmona and they camped Moseroth. They set out from Moseroth and they camped at Ben Yakan. 30, verse 32. They set out from Ben Yakan and they camped at Horgah Hagitak. They set out from Hor Hagitak and they camped at Yaphbath. They set out from Yaphbath and they camped at Abona. They set out from Abona and they camped at Ezion Geber. They set out from Ezion Geber and they camped at the wilderness of Zin, that is Kadesh. They set out from Kadesh and they camped at Mount Hor on the edge of the land of Edom. Verse 38, Aaron the Cohen ascended Mount Hor at the command of Yah and died there in the 14th year after the Israelites had left the land of Egypt, on the first day of the fifth month. Aaron was 120 years old when he died on Mount Hor, and the Canaanite king of Arad, who dwelled in the Negev in the land of Canaan, learned of the coming of the Israelites. They set out from Mount Hor and they camped Salmona. They set out from Salmona and they camped Punon. They set out from Punon and they camped in Obeth. Let me read 43 again. They set out from Punon and they camped Obath. They set out from Obath and they camped at Iyabrim. They sent in the territory of Moab. They set out from Yam and they camped at Dibon Gad. They set out from Dibon Gad and they camped Almon Diblathan. They set out from Alon Diblathan and they camped the hills of Abrim before Nabal. They set out from the hills of Abrim and they camped the steeps of Moab at the Yarden near Jericho. They encamped by the Yarden from Beth Yeshimoth as far as Abed Shittim in the steeps of Moab. Verse 50. In the steeps of Moab at the Yarden near Jericho, Hashem or Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Bnei Israel and say to them, when you cross the Jordan, or Jordan, in the land of Canaan, you shall dispossess all the inhabitants of the land. You shall destroy all their figures, objects, and shall destroy all their molten images, and you shall demolish all their cult places. And you shall take possession of the land and settle in it, for I have assigned the land to you to possess. You shall apportion the land among yourselves by lot, clan by clan. With larger groups, increase the share. With smaller groups, reduce the share. Wherever the lot falls for anyone, that shall be his, and you shall have your portion according to your ancestral tribes. But if you do not dispossess the inhabitants of the land, those whom you allow to remain shall be stinks in your eyes and thorns in your side, and they shall harass you in the land in which you lie. Chapter 34. Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, Instruct Bnei Yisrael and say to them, when you enter the land of Canaan, this is the land that shall fall to you as your portion, the land of Canaan, with its various boundaries. Your southern sector shall extend from the wilderness of Zin alongside Edom. Your southern boundary shall start on the east from the tip of the Dead Sea. The boundary shall then turn to pass south to the ascent of Akrabim and continue to Zin, and its limit shall be south of Kadesh Barnea, reaching Hazar Adar and continuing to Asmon. From Asmon, the boundary shall turn toward the Wadi of Egypt and terminate at the sea. For the western boundary, you shall have the coast of the Great Sea that shall serve as your western boundary. This shall be your northern boundary. Draw a line from the Great Sea to Mount Hor. From Mount Hor, draw a line to Lebo Hamath, and let the boundary reach Sedat. The boundary shall then run to Siphon and terminate at Hazar Enan. That shall be your northern boundary. For your eastern boundary, you shall draw a line from Hazar Enan to Shepham. From Shepham, the boundary shall descend to Riblah on the east side of Ain, and there the boundary shall continue toward about on the eastern slopes of the Sea of Shinnereth. Verse 12. The boundary shall then descend along the Jordan and terminate at the Dead Sea. That shall be your land as defined by its boundaries on all sides. Moshe instructed the Israelites, saying, this is the land you are to have. You are to receive Balad as your hereditary portion, which Yah has commanded to be given to the 9.5 tribes. For the Reubenites tribe by its ancestral houses, the Gadite tribe and by the ancestral house, and the half-tribe of Manasseh have already received their portion. Those 2.5 tribes have received their portion across the Jordan, opposite Jericho, on the east, the orient side. 16. Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, these are the names of the men through whom the land shall be apportioned for you: Eleazar the Kohanim, and Yehoshua son of Nun. And you shall also take the chieftain from each tribe, through whom the land shall be apportioned. These are the names of the men whom the tribe of Yehudah: Caleb son of Jephunneh, from the Semonite tribe; Shemuel son of Ammihud; from the tribe of Benjamin: Eliad son of Shislon; from the Danite tribe, the chieftain Buki son of Yochli; from the descendants of Joseph, from Manasseh tribe, a chieftain Janiel son of Ephod; and from the Ephraimite tribe, a chieftain Kemuel son of Shipton; from the Zebulunite tribe, a chieftain Elizaphan son of Punah; from the Issacharite tribe, a chieftain Paltiel son of Azan; from the Asherite tribe, a chieftain Ashihud son of Shalomi; from the Naphtali tribe, a chieftain Pedahel son of Ammihud. It was these whom Yah designated to allot portions to the Israelites in the land. chapter 35. Yah spoke to Moshe in the steppes of Moab at the Yarden near Jericho, saying, Instruct Bnei Yisrael to assign out of the holdings a portion to them towns of the Levium to dwell in, and you shall also assign to the Levium pasture land around their towns. The towns shall be theirs to dwell in and to pasture. All shall be for the cattle they own and all their other beasts. The town pasture that you are to assign to the Levium shall extend 1,000 amot outside the town, while all around. You shall measure off 2,000 amot outside the town on the east side, 2,000 on the south side, 2,000 on the west side, and 2,000 on the north side, with the town in the center. That shall be the pasture of their towns. The towns that you assign to the Levium shall comprise the 6 cities of refuge that you are to designate for a manslayer to flee, that which you shall have 42 towns. 7. Thus the total of the towns that you assign to the Levium shall be 48 towns with their pastures. And the assigned towns from the holdings of the Israelites take more from the larger groups and less from the smaller, so that each assigns towns to the Levium in proportion to the share it receives. Yah spoke further to Moshe, Speak to Bnei Israel and say to them, when you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan, you shall provide yourself with places to serve you as cities of refuge, of which manslayers who has killed a person unintentionally may flee. Verse 12. The city shall serve as your refuge from the avengers, so that the manslayer may not die unless he has stood trial before the assembly. The towns that you thus assign shall be 6 cities out of the towns that you thus assign shall be 6 cities of refuge in all. 3 shall be in the designated beyond the Jordan, and the other 3 shall be designated in the land of Canaan. They shall serve as the cities of refuge. Thus 6 cities shall serve the Israelites, and the residents are aliens among them for refuge, so that anyone who kills a person unintentionally may flee there. Anyone, however, who strikes another with an iron object, so that the death result is a murder, the murderer must be put to death. If he struck him with a stone tool that should cause death, and death resulted, he is a murderer. The murderer must be put to death. Similar, if the object of which he struck him is a wooden tool that could cause death, and death resulted, he is a murderer, and the murderer must be put to death. 19. The blood avenger himself shall put the murderer to death. It is he who shall put him to death upon encounter. So too, if he pushes him in hate or hurls something at him on purpose and death resulted, or if he struck him with the hand in enmity and death resulted, the assailant shall be put to death. He is a murderer. The blood avenger shall put the murderer to death upon encounter. 22. But if he pushes him without malice, aforethought, or hurled in any object at him unintentionally, or inadvertently dropped upon him any deadly object of stone, and death resulted, though he was not an enemy of his, and did not seek his harm, In such a case, the assembly shall decide between slayer and the blood avenger. 25. The assembly shall protect the manslayer from the blood avenger, and the assembly shall restore him to the city of refuge to which he fled, and there he shall remain until the death of the Kohen Gadol, who was anointed with the sacred oil. 26. But if the manslayer ever goes outside the limits of the city of refuge to which he has fled, and the blood avenger comes upon him outside the limit of the city of refuge, and the blood avenger kills the manslayer, there is no blood guilt on the account. For he must remain inside the city of refuge until the death of Kohen Gadol. After the death of the Kohen Gadol, the manslayer may return to his land holding. Such shall be your law for proceeding throughout the ages in all your settlements. 30. If anyone kills a person, the manslayer may be executed only on the evidence of witnesses. That testimony of a single witness against a person shall not suffice to the sentence of death. You may not accept a ransom for the life of a murderer who is guilty of the capital crime. He must be put to death. Nor may he accept ransom in the lieu of flight to a city of refuge, enabling one to return to live on his land before the death of the Kohen. You shall not pollute the land in which you live, for blood pollutes the land, and the land can have no expiation for blood. The blood is shed on it, except by the blood of him who shed it. 34. You shall not defile the land in which you live, in which I myself abide, for I, Yah, abide among Bnei Israel. Verse 36. The family heads in the clan of the descendants of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, one of the Josephite clans, came forward and appealed to Moshe and the chieftains, family head of the Israelites. They said, Yah commanded my Lord to assign the land to the Israelites as share by lot, and my Lord has further commanded by Yah to assign the share of our kinsman, Zelophehad, to his daughters. Verse 3. Now, if they marry person from another Israelite tribe, their share will be cut off from our ancestral portion and be added to the portion of the tribe into which they marry. Thus, their allotted portion will be diminished. And even when the Israelites observe the Jubilee, their share will be added to that of the tribe into which they marry, and their share will be cut off from the ancestral portion of our tribe. So Moshe, at Yah's bidding, instructed the Israelites, saying, the plea of the Josephite tribe is just. This is what Yah has commanded concerning the daughter of Zelophehad. They may marry anyone they wish, provided they marry into a clan of their father's tribe. No inheritance of the Israelites may pass over from one tribe to another, but the Israelites must remain bound each to the ancestral portion of his tribe. Every daughter among the Israelite tribes who inherits a share must marry someone from a clan of her father's tribe, in order that every Israelite may keep his ancestral share. Thus no inheritance shall pass over from one tribe to another, but the Israelite tribes shall remain bound, each to his portion. 10. The daughters of Zelophehad did as Yah had commanded Moshe. Machlah, Tirzah, Shaklah, Milcah, and Noah. Zelophehad's daughters were married to sons of their uncles, marrying into clans of descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, and so their share remained in the tribes of their father's clan. These are the commandments and regulations that Yah anointed upon the Israelites through Moshe on the steeps of Moab at the Jordan near Jericho. This concludes the reading of the book of Numbers. As I said before, this portion was supposed to be read last Saturday or last Shabbat because it is a double portion. I am sorry for the mistake, but I will not happen again. May Yah bless you and keep you. May Yah shine his light upon you and give you peace. In Yeshua's name, amen.